Okay, I know I said Choso video would be soon, and I know that this is the 4th Mechamaru video, but y'all really can't blame me. This character gets major changes every single update, and this recent update is really no different. It came with a rework to his offload system, a new move, some buffs, and some nerfs. So I'll just go ahead and give y'all my opinion on this stuff while I talk over some ranked matches. First match against Naoya. I don't know what it is, but Naoya has been so popular and ranked. Like, especially in recent times, it feels like he's replaced Toto's spot. Toto used to be the one that was really everywhere, but I think people have realized now that he's kind of garbage, so right now we're just trading M1s, pretty typical. My offload is coming off a cooldown, you can see at the bottom there, so I decided to just press my offload ultra spin button, just trying to get in some free pressure because the offload cooldown is coming off anyway. But that Naoya front dash closes the distance for him. And speaking of, I know this is an early side tangent, but why does Naoya's front dash have no sound cue? Okay, real quick, while I was editing this video, I went into a private server to try and test this out myself and see if it was still silent. Turns out though, it's not silent anymore. In the video against this Naoya, the front dash just won't have any sound, but that's only because I had this fight before the update. I told ZZ about it and I guess he immediately got to work. So to anybody that might have cared about this like I did, I'm going to be taking 300% of the credit. Still though, it's a great change. Every other character in the game's dashes have a sound cue, but Naoya's front dash just is silent. I don't think Naoya should get nerfed. In fact, I think he should get buffed. But like, if there's one thing I have to change about this character, that's the first thing I'm changing. That shit needs a sound cue right away. And it hasn't had a sound cue since its inception. Am I alone in that complaint? I feel like I need someone to confirm that like, I'm not crazy for that. I feel like having no sound cue is kind of ridiculous. Because when Naoyas play passive, you know, they're just hiding away the back, and they suddenly front dash at you like a jump scare. That shit is impossible to react to. It'd probably be unreactable even if it did have a sound cue, but it wouldn't feel as unfair. I don't know, that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what y'all think about that. I mean, it's not even like Naoya's dominating the meta, so it's whatever. Back to the fight though. And now, we catch him with a new move in Mechamaru's arsenal. Offload heat emission is the new go-to offload move. We can push offload ultra spin to the side now. You're putting all your stocks, all your valuables into this one move now. This move does 16 damage, and not just that, but a 16 damage M1 extender. This move is incredible, but there's a lot of caveats to it that we'll talk about later in the video. And actually, not even later in the video, one of them shows itself right here. This was actually an issue with the old offload boost on as well. The vertical hitbox on this move is really terrible. This move really has a tendency to glide over people, especially if they're right on their back. This move just ignores the opponent. This inconsistency is super detrimental to Mechamaru's combos. You really can't use this move after a down slam. And even worse, it's really inconsistent out of a boost on. Boost on really tends to make the opponent flat on their back like a down slam would, so oftentimes you have offload heat emission gliding over the opponent after that. Even worse is the fact that this move doesn't function like offload ultra spin or offload ultra cannon. You can't use this move during your other moves. Again, this hurts Mechamaru's combo game, and it really speaks to the inconsistency of Mechamaru. Sometimes this character looks like top 1 undisputed, and sometimes they're like a fringe top 5 character. Playing this character really feels like I'm gambling every time I try and do a combo. At any time, at any moment, your offload ultra spin can just spin out of control, and you can't do anything about that. You just have to adapt on the fly. Or in a public server match, your opponent can hit one of your clones and getting burst off of it. These are just really annoying extra variables that make Mechamaru a lot more annoying to play and a lot more inconsistent to play than other characters. Not to say that Mechamaru isn't fun or anything, but this really just takes away from the experience. And I heard through the grapevine too that this shit is just impossible to fix. So it sucks, but like, if you're a Mechamaru main, you just gotta deal with it. Okay, quickest pause here. I just want to say, take notice of this section here. Look at how this character plays. Does he not play like an M1 merchant? I talked about this in my post section of my channel, but it's crazy what they did to this character. I'll talk about this even more later in the video. Again with the glide, this shit needed a vertical hitbox yesterday. Not just yesterday, it needed a vertical hitbox months ago when the move first released. You can't confirm offload heat emission off of M1s. You can't guarantee a confirm off a boost on. You can't guarantee a confirm off of ultra cannon. This move is just so rigid. It's a good move, but this character shouldn't be as rigid as he is. And it really contributes to the unfun feeling you get playing this character at times. Okay, I didn't do it here, and I'm not sure if I ever do this in any of my future recordings, so I'm just gonna say this now. But I can't understand for the life of me why they made it so you have to commit to Ultra Cannon. Or rather, you have to commit to the held version of Ultra Cannon. Back in old Mecha, you could hold down the Ultra Cannon button for like 1 second and then release it, and it'll still do the regular Ultra Cannon version. But here in new Mecha, for whatever reason, if you hold down the button too long, it forces you to do the rest of the animation. It's like, why? I'm guessing this is the fault of the fact that they just ported this move from old Mecha to new Mecha. I'm guessing this because there's also some weird bugs with offload heat emission where you can't use it during moves the same way you can use offload Ultra Cannon or offload Ultra Spin. It really makes the character feel off to play. Okay, you've seen this awful heat emission M1 reset combo a few times now in the match, so let me go ahead and explain it. After the opponent is thrown by offload heat emission and they hit the ground, you'll notice that the opponent does a little bounce. With the precise timing, if you hold M1 after the bounce, you can true combo into anything. I'm not really sure why this happens, but the combo is quite precise. It can take a few tries just to get one successful attempt, let alone becoming consistent at it in real matches. It's also quite risky. If you go for the M1s and you mistime it and it ends up green, your opponent can dash out of your M1s, leaving you with no combo. Or even worse, they could punish you for it, and you can't slow down your M1s or dash or block in between. You have to commit to the 3 M1s. So while this combo is exceedingly powerful, it's a 16 damage M1 reset, you probably won't see this ever, if at all. People don't play Mechamaru to begin with, but this combo, I really do doubt that you'll see many people using this. So now that we're done with the 1v1, I want to go into detail on why I dislike Mechamaru as he is right now. And the main reason I dislike him is for a reason I said earlier in this video. He plays like an M1 merchant. It's not inherently wrong to be an M1 merchant, but this is Mechamaru. He shouldn't play like an M1 merchant. His name is literally Puppet Master in the character list. His whole thing should be using his puppets more often to outplay his opponent. But as you saw in that one ranked match, outside of combos, your puppets really are a non-factor in these fights. It's basically entirely up to your M1s, and I think that's really unfortunate for a character called Puppet Master. But the question now becomes, how did Mechamaru become less versatile after gaining 2 extra moves? And that we can attribute to the offload rework and Mechamaru's new mechanic, Ubercharge. Before Ubercharge was added, Mechamaru had a lot more options when he was approaching people. You could use offload Ultra Spin as many times as you needed to. At mid-range, heat emission was and still is an excellent option, but as you saw in the ranked match, heat emission just isn't used anymore. Offload Ultra Spin isn't used as commonly anymore. And the reason for this is because there exists a very clear value hierarchy between each of the offload moves. Offload heat emission massively outclasses offload Ultra Spin and offload Ultra Cannon. And because of how Ubercharge works now, you will never ever want to waste that offload cooldown on a move that won't give you any value. Or rather, a move that won't guarantee you any value. So now, after activating your offload, instead of using your puppets offensively or defensively, you do nothing. You activate your offload and you go in for M1s like a brawler instead. This should not be how Mechamaru plays. Not only is offload Ultra Spin kind of set to the side because of how powerful offload heat emission is, but regular heat emission itself is also more discouraged because you don't want to waste your offload charges. So what is left in Mechamaru's kit? Are we going to use something like offload Ultra Cannon? The move that does 7 damage? Offload Ultra Cannon is entirely worthless under this new Ubercharge system. Are we going to use Puppet Barrage or Boost On when the opponent is so far away from us? The answer is no, you can't do that. And that really just sucks, it feels so bad. He doesn't really feel like a character that relies on his summons. He plays kind of boring now, you know? One more thing, I talked about it earlier in the video with how offload heat emission doesn't have a good vertical hitbox or how offload Ultra Spin will spin out of control. But Mechamaru's inconsistency is the most annoying thing in this game I've ever seen. And in a game like this where it's so important that you get as much damage as you can off of every single hit that you get, it feels so horrible when you get in, you're in M1 range, you use your offload Ultra Spin defensively to try and catch the opponent, and it just spins out of control and flies in the opposite direction. Or even worse, you're in a combo right now, you use the move, and it still bugs out. I didn't put nearly as much attention as I should have. This issue is game ruining. Like I said before, Mechamaru can really feel like a top 1 character undisputed. He can feel ridiculous. And then all of a sudden, your Ultra Spins don't work twice in a row and you've lost the stock. Your offload Ultra Spins glide over the opponent 1 too many times and you lost the damage, so you lose the stock. Or maybe your offload heat emission hits a piece of debris and just flies off to the right for some reason. It's so infuriating. If this was before the offload change, I could excuse it because you could use offload as many times as you want to. But there's not even an excuse anymore. Offload heat emission is even worse than offload ultra spin. It might be a little obvious, but this just happened to me in ranked, which is why I'm so mad about it. And not just in one match, every single match that I play, there's gotta be at least one instance of a clone bugging out for no reason. I hate it so much, and I've come to hate this character, I'm not gonna lie. His combos can be pretty fun, but when every interaction feels like an actual gamble, it gets so tiring not being able to like, fully depend on the character that I'm using. There's so many like little inconsistencies with Mechamaru that just makes him a pain to play. Ultra Cannon, sometimes combos into boost on, sometimes it doesn't. For Ultra Spin, unlike Akari's Fever Breaker, the hitbox isn't very forgiving and it doesn't linger either. Sometimes you can just miss the opponent if they're falling down and you're trying to hit him on the way down. These little things pile up and add on to make a very unfun experience. Not a single other character feels as unfun as Mechamaru sometimes. Make sure you like and subscribe.